Hey folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. Well, earlier on today, I was saying I don't often comment or predict on women's boxing matches. And yet here I am, because of course this coming Saturday, March the 22nd, in Australia, there's a Lou DiBello Promotions, and on the undercard of the George Kambosos Jr. fight, we have Skye Nicolson against number one contender Tiara Brown. Now this is for the WBC Featherweight World Championship. Skye Nicolson is, of course, fighting on home turf. Not only is she an Aussie, but she is a New South Wales Aussie, and that's where the fight's being held. It's going to be held in Sydney. Skye Nicolson is rated the world number one. She's the Aussie number one. She's a southpaw. She's 5 foot 5.5 tall, and her professional record is 12-0 with 1 KO, which is 8%. Now, of course, it's actually quite hard to get KOs in women's boxing because they're 2-minute rounds, and most people can sort of hang on for 2 minutes, and you just don't see a really high knockout ratio so much in women's boxing. So Skye Nicolson is a to be honest, I find her a little bit boring myself. She's a very, very good boxer, and I've heard it said that she reminds other fans a little bit of she's a female version of Shakur Stevenson, and I think that's probably a fair assessment, and it's not meant to be harsh. I mean, Shakur Stevenson's a great fighter, but it's the kind of fighter that, you go make a cup of tea when he's fighting, right? And Skye is a little bit like that. She's very, very technically good. She's almost sort of like a fencer, she's got that. She's got that sort of skill set about her, right? She's also very good amateur record. She was an Olympian. She got 107 amateur wins, 32 amateur losses. I thought when she last fought, which was October last year against Raven Chapman, that Raven was going to beat her, actually. So I bet on Raven, and of course, I was wrong, and once again my bookie is eating steak and I was having craft dinner. She's very, very competent. I've also read that she's looking, and this might be a bit of an Achilles heel, maybe, I don't know. She's looking for a match with Ellie Scotney if Ellie moves up to the 126 bracket. Also, Amanda Serrano is on the horizon. So I wonder, could Skye Nicolson be looking past her opponent on Saturday? But anyways, let's look at her opponents. An American woman fighting out of Florida, 36 years old. So, getting to that age where you're getting a little long in the tooth. Number 4 in the world, number 1 in the United States, Tiara Brown. Now, Tiara Brown's record is actually, sort of, trashes what I just said about there being low knockout ratios. She's 5'7", she's an orthodox fighter. Skye is, of course, a southpaw. She's got an 18-0 record. 11 of those 18 come by way of, so that's 61%, which is very high for a woman. And then she was 40-15 in the amateurs, so she doesn't have anywhere near the amateur pedigree that Skye has. But of that 61% stoppage ratio, which is very high for a woman boxer, a lot of the opponents that she's been in against have not been, sort of top class, right? She's a very come-forward fighter, which I like. So I can already sort of, because I'm neutral, in this, I can already predict that I'll be sort of like, come on, come on, come on. She's got a bit of a rep for being a slow starter, which of course she's not. She's going to need to be starting fast. You can't be giving up rounds. There's only 10 of them, and they're only 2-minute rounds. Her last fight was in January, so she's got activity on her side. So what is it for Skye? October, November, December, January, February. It's only 4 months. If it counts at all, activity would be on Tiara's side. Age is against her. She's a bit taller. She's 5'7". She's got probably a harder puncher, though that record is, you got to look at the opponents, right? I really would like somebody to give Skye Nicolson a really good test. The fact of the matter is she's actually really, really good, and she's not run across somebody who can give her that test so far. It's hard to see an outcome outside of one of two things. Outcome number one, which I think is the most likely, is that Skye Nicolson is going to outbox Tiara Brown, and we'll see a fairly wide win on the cards, like a 8-2 kind of thing. Now, what could happen, but I think it's less likely, is that Tiara Brown's going to come out and stick it on her, which is the best way to go after Skye. And really lay it on her, lots of punches all the time, and try and stop Skye Nicolson. Now that's, of course, a lot easier said than done. And Tiara is a bit of a slow starter who's not actually got a huge work rate and output. So she would have to sort of box in a way that's counterintuitive for her normal way of doing things, and hope to stop Skye by about round 8. I think that's the only way that Tiara Brown is going to pull this off. And I think it's unlikely. So, when I come to put my bet on, I haven't seen the odds. If I was going to bet on a Tiara Brown win, it would be a win by TKO, KO. I don't see any way, based on the records of these two women, that Tiara's going to be able to outbox and win on points against Skye, who is the champion. So to be the champion, you've got to beat the champion. Skye is also boxing on home turf. So it would be a massive upset for Tiara Brown, in my view, based on what I've seen of her and based on looking at who she's fought, for me to see her winning on points. She could stop Skye, but I think that's also not very likely. So as a flutter bet, maybe a TKO for Tiara, but I think if you want to be fairly secure in your bet, or as an anchor bet to some sort of combination bet, you should probably look at Skye Nicolson, unanimous decision, fairly wide unanimous decision against Tiara Brown, who's also not got the fastest of feet, so she might struggle to sort of, even if she comes in with that idea of just trying to put it on Skye, she might actually have problems in sort of, getting hold of the girl. I'll be cheering a little bit for Tiara because I often cheer for the underdog. If Skye gets through this, I should say Tiara's the number one contender, so she's well deserved. It's not like Skye is finding a soft touch here. If Skye gets through this and she wants to go on, and Ellie Scotney would be a great fight, but Amanda Serrano would be the fight that I'd like to see. But anyhow, like her or not, Skye is a very skilled practitioner of the sport. A little bit boring for my taste, but nevertheless a very, very, very good boxer. Tiara, I will be cheering her on a little bit, hoping that she'll come out and make a really good fight of it. But that would be a bit of an upset if she was to win. It'd be a shock if she was to win on points, and it'd be a bit of an upset if she was going to be able to do enough to win by TKO. So that's my thinking. Let me know what you think. Skye Nicolson and Tiara Brown this coming Saturday, March the 22nd. I was to say October. What's wrong with my brain? March the 22nd in Australia. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.